Right, brilliant, splendid. Right, we're going this way?
Yep.
We are. Right, this is Antony Carpen on a very dark and cold night here in Cambridge, and I've got a former mayor of Cambridge with me, Barry Gardiner. I do apologise for the very poor lighting, sir. And Barry's also now the Shadow International Trade Secretary, having gone on to even greater things from when he was boss of this place. Welcome home, sir.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back, actually. Loving it.
Now, first question really is, what the hell is going on in Westminster at the moment?
Well, you are seeing the final playing out of the psychodrama that is the Conservative Party splitting itself apart over Europe.
Which is just like the 1990s.
Well, indeed, I was going to say. It's been going on for, 40 years probably. And really, the terrifying thing, and I mean that, it is terrifying, is that the focus of all of the cabinet is on each other,
Yep.
on themselves, on who is going to succeed Theresa May, and the needs of our country have got totally smothered in that process. And I've never been involved in politics at a time that I am more worried about the lack of focus on the real needs that people have now. We're seeing people, increasing homelessness. We're seeing the effects of universal credit, where we've been begging the government, begging them to pause this. We're not against the principle, but we've said that we need to pause and reset this so that, instead of 6 weeks, that the payments are made within 4. Because people are being forced into homelessness, they're being forced into street homelessness as a result. You look at what's going on in education, and the way in which schools are now having to send notes home with children, asking parents for money for books, asking parents for money for equipment. And the government is really heedless of what is going on. It's not focused, and we just need our politicians to do what they were elected to do, which is to try and make our lives better.
So, the parallels with the 1990s, which was, I think, the last time when I met you when I was about 11 at Morley, striking yet. My memories are that what we currently have in Westminster is even worse than even under the worst days of John Major's government.
Yes, I've asked some of my colleagues who were there in the early 90s during the Maastricht Treaty negotiations. I said, how does it compare? And everyone I've asked has said it is infinitely worse now than it was then. So I think for those who do remember what the death throes of the John Major government felt like in the country, those who were intimately observing it in Parliament are convinced that today's situation is worse.
Now, at the time of Maastricht, you were mayor of this place.
Yes.
What was it like? What do you remember of Cambridge during the 1990s, in particular politically?
Well, it was a very exciting time because actually in the early 90s we controlled the city council by the casting vote of the mayor. Which was this way.
Okay.
So it put quite a responsibility on my shoulders, and I was also chairing the finance committee at the same time. But it was exciting, and there was a sense that with Anne Campbell's election, I don't know if you remember Anne.
I do. She's still around today.
And what a wonderful woman. She served Cambridge as the MP from 92, I think, till 2005.
And also, she was the first woman MP elected in Cambridge.
Yes,
as well.
Absolutely right. So it was a time of real excitement, real hope. So much so that I launched the Green Bike Scheme in Cambridge, which I still think was the right thing, the visionary thing.
Well, people are saying the Green Bike Scheme was years ahead of its time, and we've seen in Cambridge now the new Yellow Bike Scheme, which is basically the Green Bike Scheme but with the
done
technology.
properly.
Yeah.
Yes, quite. Well, look, in those days we didn't have the capacity to put that technology in place, but it was the vision. The vision was there, and that was great. It was a wonderful time. I remember. I think I incurred the wrath of the Labour group on one occasion, in that I voted to protect the Cherry Hinton cherry trees. No, it wasn't Cherry Hinton cherry trees. It was the cherry trees on, is it the Histon Road or no? I can't remember now. One of the roads coming into Cambridge. There's a big campaign to save the cherry trees, and of course my green credentials meant that I was absolutely adamant that I was going to go against the Labour whip and, as mayor, vote to preserve them, which we did, which was
Well,
great.
funnily enough, that campaign has actually come back. Both Milton Road and Histon Road have got Save the Trees schemes because of proposals for a bus lane.
No.
And again, it's a Labour administration on the council that has been trying to deal with that as part of the city deal.
If I'd known that, I would have been much more circumspect, and I wouldn't have promulgated on the cherry trees.
No,
from 30
don't worry.
years ago.
But actually, it seems to have been resolved now, funnily enough, because people got involved.
Good. Well, I think I better stay stum for the rest of that. I don't want to.
Don't worry. And I guess final question is really about encouraging more young people into politics. What advice do you have in particular for any young women who want to get involved in politics, and people from minority ethnic backgrounds, given some of the diversity issues Parliament has?
Well, look, I'm proud that the Labour Party has always been the one party in Parliament that has had more women MPs and more MPs from ethnic minority backgrounds than any other. Indeed, we've got more women MPs than the rest of Parliament put together, the rest of the parties in Parliament put together. People should care about their future. I think politics is not something that people should love for its own sake. They should only be concerned for politics because they want change. They see what can be done, and they want to change the country to enable it to be done. Anybody who wants a political career, I think, is an idiot. But anybody who wants change and believes that the best way for them to try and achieve it is through politics has my huge respect, and I would encourage them all the way.
Okay, Barry Gardiner, thank you very much.